Hi everyone, it's GBGW time with Andrea, and today we're going to talk about job licenses in GBGW. It's something that I've been wanting to explore for a while but haven't had the chance, and so I really enjoyed preparing for this video. I relied on Lyconius for some of the stuff that I don't quite grasp all the way yet. I grasp tags, but I haven't tackled that yet because I don't have necessarily enough parts yet to make some of the tags that would be beneficial for my pilots actually work. I'm going to go kind of fast on this and make it as short and succinct as possible. So comment below if I miss anything, and fast forward, rewind, whatever as needed to catch information. Okay, so first off, we'll talk about all-rounders. This is a basic job, as it says right here, that all AI pilots have. Is the very first thing that you learn. There's no bonus given for this. There's only one time that Lyconius and I could think of where you might want to have the all-rounder selected, and that's when you're using a pilot named Ron Baral, and he, I'm guessing that's a he, has a special ability only active when he's an all-rounder. But other than that, there's really no point to have an all-rounder when you could be any of the other things. So let's go ahead and go on to Defender. Okay, so we've got Galio here. I love Galio. He's pretty awesome. So, sorry, I forgot to read that. Okay, a job specializing in defense. It raises your hit points in your defense and lets you guard in all directions, which is fantastic. It includes an auto guard function. So, when you have the Defender selected, you get a 5% bonus to 3 different things: your armor, your melee defense, and your shot defense. And so the kinds of things that you want to have equipped to this would be anything that adds to the above, but you need to make sure that you remember that you can't win a battle unless you inflict damage. So pay attention to attack and shot, but mainly attack. Anyway, okay, so the equipment, like I was saying, it's anything that adds to the above, and close combat. So he's able to block in all directions, but most of the other job licenses only block directly in front of them. So, like I said, give him a good shield. Okay, the EX, and I haven't played with these at all, so ignore those. And this, by the way, is just one of my random suits right now. It's not specifically tied to anybody right now, or any specific pilot. Okay, so the EX abilities, you would want to have anything that increases armor and defense, and also something that heals. I mean, that's something that's always good for anybody, but melee especially. Because what he's going to do is he's going to shoot, he's going to run up, and he's going to block. And then his first attack causes the bad guy to basically stagger, and then he attacks while they're hesitating. And so that's one thing that's absolutely fantastic about a Defender is they're like tanks. You know, they take a lot of damage, and then they deal a little bit of damage, and then it stuns their enemies. So, good tags for a Defender would be Pro Tag, Close Combat. You can also put in Mobile Fighter, High Firepower, Gundam Type, or is it Massive Firepower? I forgot to double check that. But Massive Gundam Type, Heavy Armor. Let me see if I can figure out if that's Massive Firepower or High Firepower. Okay, those of you who know, you can tell me in comment below. High Firepower. It's High Firepower. Okay. Okay, so those are things that would benefit him. And good pilots for a Defender would include Galio, Mikazuki. Mikazuki adds 1100 to melee and shooting, which is absolutely fantastic because they do a little bit of shooting. Okay, so now that we've got that down on the Defender, let's go see one in action on auto. Make sure I have this in auto. And here he goes. See, he goes up and he defends, and then he attacks. Fantastic. Okay, make sure he defends and attacks. See, he's still defending, attacks. Pretty cool. Okay, defend and attack. I'm not seeing him shoot before he goes in, but that's okay. Okay, one thing about Defenders that I forgot to talk about was their job gauge, and that's the little thing in the bottom left corner above the shield. When that fills up and you click on that while you're fighting, what it happens is it makes it so that his guard is constantly active for a certain amount of time. It cannot be broken, and when you push guard during that during that instance, during that time, you get a stronger guard, so a stronger shield. Okay, so and if you can't tell, I decided to, might as well be benefited from this video by getting some bonus. So let's go ahead and go on to our Infighter. Okay, so an Infighter, we're going to go ahead and select Infighter, confirm, and Duo, can equip. Okay, Duo is fantastic. I love my Duo. Okay, so Infighters is a combat job that boosts close range attacks, double tap to step, and unleash a devastating finishing move. Cannot guard, but enables you to boost the license gauge instead, which, whatever. You cannot guard, so if you play this on auto, it does not guard, and you can't, actually. It does not even allow you. Even if you're playing manual, it won't allow you to go up to somebody and click on the guard button. So if you want to get a check mark on those things that require a guard, required you to guard successfully 1, 2, 1, and 3 times, don't use an Infighter. Okay, so Infighters, when you've got the Infighter selected up here, you get a 10% bonus to melee attack. So make sure this guy, your Infighter, is heavy on melee. Don't neglect your armor because you're going to need that too. And melee defense obviously is going to be a good thing. But make everything, your equipment, heavy on melee. For your EX, you're going to want anything that boosts your melee attack. Don't put anything shot in here, especially if you're playing on auto or if you're using it as your relief gun Pla, because it will be wasted. Okay, the tags are going to be the same or even more so than a defender. So the pro tag, close combat, mobile fighter, high firepower, Gundam type, heavy armor, etc. Examples of good pilots would include Duo Maxwell. He's absolutely fantastic. He will give you 1600 and 2 on melee attack, which is pretty awesome. And let's go ahead and, when you fill up the job range on this and you click on it, the job gauge, click on that, he will not flinch and he increases his melee attack. So when you're attacking in melee, he does better and he doesn't flinch. Flinching is when everything falls apart. Okay, let's go ahead and go see him in action. All right, let's see how this guy does in auto. Very aggressive, runs right up to them, attacks immediately. Not too bad. That spinning thing is kind of interesting from the Rabawo or Rabu, that one. Interesting. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about Outfighters. Confirm. We're going to use Psy as an Outfighter here. The thing about Outfighters, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but it's a combat job that boosts close range attacks, double tap to step and unleash a devastating finishing move, includes an auto guard function. So an Outfighter they will shoot until they've run out of ammunition, and then they will charge and engage in combat. So that's pretty awesome. The bonus when their job title is selected is a 10% on melee, and so you're going to want to make them be heavy on melee, but some shot attack is also good. And the types of equipment, like spears, whips, longer range melee, work really, really good on them. And then EX would be also anything that's good for melee. So, like the kind of stuff that requires close combat, and nothing that involves a gun probably because, especially since most of them have a cooldown or a load up, a buffer before you can even use them. And by that point, they're probably engaging in hand-to-hand combat. Tags would be same as an Infighter, so go ahead and go up to the Infighter and see how that goes. And then a good example of a pilot would be Psy, because Psy, when he's fully upgraded, is 1602 on the melee attack. And the job gauge in this is the same as an Infighter. Once it fills up and you click on it, then they don't flinch and it increases their melee attack. Okay, let's go ahead and see Psy. Actually, you know what? I think Psy is a little bit too powerful. We're going to try my new pilot here. I just drew this one today. So let's go see Uso in action. Okay, Outfighters in action. When you're going up against an Outfighter in the arena, if you can kill them before they reach you, that would be best. So see, he's shooting until he runs out of ammo. except in that case where apparently he decided to go in for attack. But I think he got too close. But see, he's shooting and then he's heading in. Let's see if we've got him, if he can shoot and then go in for, whatchamacallit. Oh, he's using an EX ability. Good, very nice. Jian Fang. And going in for action. That was not nearly as exciting as I was hoping it would be, but that's okay. Okay, let's talk about a middle shooter now. Our middle shooter, we're going to use Judao. Okay, so middle shooters are more of a mid-range, because, you know, middle shooter. It's a combat job that boosts mid-range attacks and lets you fire charged shots. Also has an auto guard. So what middle shooters do is they will shoot at a middle range or whatever. If you charge them, if you get too close to them, they will engage in melee, but generally they will aim to be about, you know, half the distance from a long shooter. I don't know how to give you they're 10 inches away. It's kind of hard to explain. The bonus is a 10% bonus on the shot attack up here. And their equipment, so anything that increases shot attack would be good, but also some melee in case they end up getting too close to people, because they will attack. A long shooter will not. They'll keep running away, but a middle shooter will attack. So the EX skills would be anything mid-range shots. The beam cannon on my crossbones would be absolutely fantastic for a relief or an autoplay, because like I've seen Haman, my long shooter, I've seen her in action as a relief, and she shoots that beam cannon from really far away, and most of those shots don't hit her target. But that would be an excellent EX ability for a middle shooter. The tags would be mid-range, ace, high firepower commander. Maximum firepower is the same thing as high firepower, but anything that adds a bonus to a shooter would be good for a middle shooter. An example of a good pilot is Judao. Let's look at Judao up close. So the shot attack there is 1602, so that is really nice. I'm not going to go, I haven't been going into the other ones. You guys can look into those on your own. The job gauge, when the job gauge fills up on a middle shooter, it increases their reload speed, which is kind of the same thing as increasing their damage, because if they can shoot faster, they do more damage. So let's go ahead and go watch a middle shooter in action. Okay. So this middle shooter should stay, good distance away. Doesn't get much closer than that, just shoots. Goes close, stops, he's like, and then look, you see that? Engages in hand-to-hand if they come close enough. Kind of like that ability. It's very flashy. And again, gets close, shoots. If they come close, will engage in hand-to-hand. That EX ability, I believe, is probably more geared to an infighter. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about long shooters now. This is my favorite one currently. I actually really, really like getting into getting in there and getting all dirty and fighting really hard, but I just kept getting lots of really good long shooter stuff, and it's just, I love it. It's been good. A lot of fun. Okay, a long shooter is a combat job that boosts long-range attacks and lets you fire charged shots. However, it lacks the auto-guard capabilities of the middle shooter job. So that's important to note. You cannot auto-guard in this. You can guard. You can go up and you push your guard button, but in auto, it will not happen. So if you're going to play on auto, again, use a defender if you need to get those checkpoints. Okay, so the bonus that you get from going from all-rounder to long shooter is 10% to shot attack again. So in a long shooter, you're going to want them to be completely heavy on shot. You don't want to have anything that's really sent to any of the other abilities, because they're not going to use them. You will when you're probably doing it on your own, but in your auto and your relief and etc., you're going to want to be very heavy on shot. The EX abilities you choose, again, choose long range. My bazooka is absolutely fantastic for this because it is a long range and it does area damage. Like I was saying earlier, the wing zero back is not so great for this because for auto and for a relief, because it requires you to be too far away. Requires you, to be too close. And when I'm using my feathers, I actually have to get closer before I engage that EX skill. The tags you want to use on these would be long range, ace, high firepower, commander, etc. And the job gauge on this, it increases your reload speed and your range, so that's pretty awesome. Okay, so a good pilot would be Haman. This is my favorite little pilot. She's already maxed out, but she's 1602 as well. And let's go ahead and go watch her in action. All right, Haman, let's see how you do on auto. She's not running away from anybody. She's not getting any closer. Oh, there she goes. She backs up a little bit. And right there, you see, that's much farther away than it was for the other one. Still using that EX ability, but she's not going in to attack. She's backing away instead of going in to attack. A nice little ballet, ballerina spin there. And she's like, somebody's coming in to kill me. But she wins anyway. She didn't even have a chance to run away. All right, last but not least is supporter. Let's go ahead and check out supporters. I do not have a good supporter. It's sad. Very, very sad. So we'll use Nicole. And go ahead and tag him in there. And a supporter is fantastic. They reduce cooldown time for support type EX skills, as well as cooldown times for EX skills used by party members. Cannot guard, but enables you to charge the license gauge instead. And the reason I say a supporter is fantastic is because they're fantastic to have on your team. They are not a whole lot of fun to play. This is kind of going to date me a little bit, but back when I used to play World of Warcraft, every time we'd go on a raid or something like that, people wanted this basic role. It's usually like a healer or somebody who adds bonus to everybody around them, but doesn't do a lot of damage themselves and doesn't really have a point. It's boring to play them generally, but supporters can be very, very beneficial. Like I said, they don't add any bonus to this over here, but they do make it so that your EX skills will charge up faster and you don't have as long of a booster. And then when your job gauge fills up, it reduces the cooldown of your teams, the whole team's EX skills. So that is really, really beneficial. So like when we were going up against Zan in that multi-mission, it would have been really, really awesome to have a supporter in there on those very hardest levels, because getting your EX skills back faster would be fantastic. Okay, so the equipment on this, shot heavy, they do shoot a lot, but they back away from everything. So equipment that focuses on shot attack would be good. The EXs that you would want to use would be ones that benefit others. And so like my feather dive, because it adds to melee and to, I can't remember, shot attack of other people. I believe those are the things it adds to. Just basically abilities that increase your team's abilities as well. And so the tags, so anything that keeps them alive, so shot and defense tags. And you can go through and figure out which ones those ones would be. The pilots for this would be Celine would be a good example. Lolo is a good example. Like I said, Nicole's not terribly fantastic. See that? It's not horrible, but it's not great. I mean, the beam resistance, the shot attack's pretty low. Okay, so let's go ahead and go watch, and I already talked about the job gauge. Yeah, let's go ahead and go watch this pilot in action. All right, let's see how the supporter does. Not as aggressive, doesn't look like. I mean, maintains about a long range distance, it looks like. Does use the EX abilities. Interesting. And they come and attack, of course. And it looks like he's having to engage in melee, but I do know they prefer shooting. Okay, so that's all of them. A couple things, just really fast. All job licenses benefit from EX skills that heal themselves, heal their squads, increase squad abilities, etc. if they're with a squad. And then also melee defense and shot defense, beam resistance, and the physical resistance. These are things that are beneficial for pretty much any of the job licenses. I mean, everybody knows how horrible it is to get stuck in a beam. So yeah, those are the job licenses. Like I said, if I forgot anything or if I missed anything, go ahead and comment below. Which of these have you not had a chance to play around with? I haven't had much experience with mid-range shooters, middle shooters, or outfighters or supporters. I've used infighters quite a bit and my defender quite a bit, and long shooters. It's probably because those are where my best pilots are, and I didn't have Psy for a very long time. So anyway, so go ahead and comment below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.